has over 20 years experience in direct sales and has been the top earner in 2 different sales organizations. Currently, he's a life coach and business consultant and is the president of Southwest Florida Speakers Toastmasters Club. And he's also the board president of the Center for Spiritual Living in Cape Coral, Florida. So everybody please give a warm welcome to Mr. Buckhouse.
Each and every one of us is born with the seeds of greatness. We can be, we can do, we can have anything we desire. But it comes from our givingness. It comes from that showing up to life in such a way where you're sharing your uniqueness to make the world a better place. Now, I learned about this when I was just 12 years old from a very valuable lesson from Mom. Mom wanted me to walk a girl to the bus stop. I wanted to be cool. I didn't want to walk anybody to the bus stop, especially a girl. Especially Wendy. See, Wendy was a little different. She was what we call mentally handicapped. She was a lot bigger than myself, a lot older. She had kind of a mind more of a child. For me, I fought this. I really wanted to be cool. But my mom sat me down and said, son, sometimes you gotta be there for somebody. Sometimes you gotta show that you're a friend. And she's nervous, and to be able to walk her to school, I think is something that you can do. So first thing, the next morning I showed up at Wendy's house. She came out with her mom, and she had a big smile on her face, shouted my name, Ron! Came down, gave me a big hug, and proceeded to hold my hand as we walked to school. Now, I didn't know this was part of the deal. But when somebody's a little bit bigger and stronger than you, you kind of go along with it. But then when she pulled out that quote and unfolded it, 1,000 little black specks danced in front of her nose. Her head kicked back. Her eyes became like slits. Her nose, bright red, had its own heartbeat. And then it happened. Oh! It's going from a secure salary, paycheck, to something that was called 100% commission. All right? Don't sell, don't eat, don't live. And I'm like, I can do this! I went and I took the Dale Carnegie sales training program. Anybody been through a Dale Carnegie program? They're excellent. And I went through professional selling skills, and I knew this equipment because I had designed it, so I knew it was phenomenal. Within 3 months, I hadn't sold anything. And within 3 months, I was really feeling this is not me. I can't do this, you know. And actually, I did sell one thing. I sold my car. My phone started ringing me. I was getting hang-ups, and I was calling. This was the point where now things would seem to come to me. And by doing this practice, I realized I really sold myself that the law works. See, it's not so much the outcome, it's the lesson. The lesson is greater. It's the greater value. So I sold myself that this stuff really works. And I actually landed a very, very large sale. It was one of the largest sales of the company. It was to a company called The Attitude of Gratitude. Yes, we know that there are difficulties in the world, but we can change. We can change ourselves. We can change the way we look at it. Martin Luther King didn't say, I have a problem. He didn't say, I have an issue here, man. I have a serious situation. He said, I have a dream. And he infused that attitude into millions of people, making a shift. And I believe he made a sincere difference in this world. So we can all do that, whether it's on a small scale or a big. When I was in 4th grade, I had a handicap. I had a stuttering problem. And that time in my life, I withdrew. I was closed. I didn't want to get in front of a class to speak. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to be part of life. Other kids made fun of me, and the more nervous I got, the more that stuttering problem came out. My teacher talked to my mom and suggested that I go to a speech therapist. To me, that was the worst thing ever. I felt at that point I was really handicapped. Now I'm the special child that has to go to a different room while the other kids get to play in a regular room. But it was a blessing. Matter of fact, that speech therapist, I believe, saw something greater in me than I saw even in myself.
And the last item is to live and to be happy in a moment. So many times when we're driven for success or goals or things that we don't have, or we're comparing ourselves to others, we feel that sense of lack. And it is the magic of being able to feel that joy now. Whether or not you have everything, is to be able to feel the gratitude of what you do have. As we sit here and we realize we're in one of the wealthiest countries in the entire world, and many of us are driven in some way to succeed, to want to have more. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are in essence, a goal-finding creature, okay? But it is to also be happy in the moment, and to enjoy the ride, to have pleasure in every single little thing around the goal, to take walks and to enjoy nature, to really connect. Because it is that feeling of joy, whether we're doing it for ourselves or whether we're expressing it and uplifting another, is that feeling of joy that allows us to make the world a better place.
This 2-hour speech was probably phenomenal. But the next man that stood up gave a 2-minute speech that captivated and motivated an audience, that touched the hearts of thousands of Americans, that united a nation. That man was Abraham Lincoln. That speech was the Gettysburg Address. The real question is, what is your Gettysburg Address? What is the greatness that's in you that's seeking to merge the art of speaking? The word, the phrase, that nothing is impossible to a mind that believes. Now I believe there are two characteristics, two fundamental things that the successful mind, the mind that believes, does consistently. That is, they believe that they can. Number one principle, they believe that they can. And secondarily to that is number two, which is they practice the techniques, the methodologies, the ways of being able to use their mind to create success. It's got some really good looking Nikes there. It's probably got that Kevlar stuff in them. I bet you they're fast. Maybe I didn't eat a lot of carbohydrates last night. Maybe I'm not even hydrated enough to run today. So I started defeating myself. And when a gun would go off, I would begin running, putting in my 100%, but the moment the first person would pass me, I would then begin to become defeated in my mind. The second person would pass me, I would start to say, well, you know what, maybe another. The power of belief. If you take the two principles of believing that you can, and don't buy into anybody's excuses, not even your own, and you practice the techniques of affirmations, visualization, and goal setting, then no matter what your goals are, desires or dreams are, you will achieve them with success. Because nothing is impossible to a mind that believes. Mr.